Okay, Robert Stanley here. We're just going to do a really quick how to create your custom audience list training. It's relatively simple. First and foremost, you need to have a Facebook advertising account. This training that I'm doing here kind of assumes that you have one. If you don't have one, go to facebook.com/ads. It should walk you through the process of setting one up. If it's the first time you've attempted to use Facebook advertising, there may also be free advertising coupons on the internet. For a while they had them floating around upwards of $250. I don't know that that's the case anymore, but it's worth looking. Just do a quick Google search for Facebook advertising coupons or Facebook advertising credits and see if you can't find something out there. Would be worth it to have a couple bucks to play with. But after you've set up your account, and when you're in your the Ads Manager navigation, you'll see something called Power Editor. I've got it highlighted here with the blue arrow. Basically, when you click on that, you're going to be building your custom audiences. But first, you need to create two lists, and we only want email addresses. And what you're looking for are your current prospects, so people that have expressed interest. Maybe you've given them a proposal, or whatever the case may be. They haven't actually given you money yet. And then you want to create a list of current and past customers, so that people actually have given you some sort of money or have some monetary value associated with them. So maybe it was a barter deal or something. But really it's just distinguishing a buyer from a prospect. And the format is very simple. It does need to be a CSV file, which is short for comma separated value. You can create this in Excel rather easily. You just put all the email addresses in there, and you'll notice, like in this setup here, the top column, row number 1, it says email address. When you export email addresses from your CRM or your autoresponder software, sometimes they have a heading column like that where it tells you what that row is or what it contains. You're going to want to delete that first row, and only have the email addresses in there. So nothing else, just the email addresses, and it needs to be saved as a CSV. So when you save your Excel spreadsheet or your Google Doc, just do a file save as or file export as .csv extension, and what that's going to do, it's basically a text file where all the emails are, johndoe@aol.com, comma, and then johndoe2@aol, comma, so that's all it is. Once you have that list, what you're going to do is go into the Power Editor. So I showed you that in the previous screen. So you click on the Power Editor button. Now, important note about Power Editor, you do have to have Google Chrome as your browser. And the reason that is the case is that the Power Editor is not actually on the internet. It is a desktop application that uses Chrome as kind of its wrapper. And so they wrote the program so that you use Chrome as your desktop application. So if you don't have Google Chrome, you'll need to download and install that. And then when you click on the Power Editor, this is what you're going to see. You're going to click on the Audiences section on the far left there, and then you're going to create a new audience. It's going to pop up a dialog box like this. You're going to name the audience in the following manner. If it's your prospect list, then you're going to put prospects, maybe whatever designation you want, but prospect-list, and it could be, if you're selling cars, it could be new car shopper prospect-list or used car shopper prospect, however you want to break it down. You can put a description in there. You're going to use just email addresses. Now, you can use phone numbers if you have only phone numbers, although I found that the match, it does not match quite as many. In my experience, if you load 1,000 email addresses, you're going to get about 500 matches for your list. It's roughly half of whatever you load is what's going to show up. If you do phone numbers, it's going to be more like 10 to 20%. So if you load 1,000 phone numbers, then you're going to get like 100, maybe 200 matches. And what they're doing is they're matching the email address and/or phone number with data that people have used, that the individuals have used in their Facebook account. So I don't know that a lot of people put their phone numbers in there. The UIDs are the Facebook user IDs. There are tools out there that allow you to scrape user IDs or use the Facebook API programs to get that. That's outside the scope of what we're doing here, and really we don't care about that anyway. What we want to do is focus on your past customers and prospects because you're going to get a much higher response and a lower cost of advertising when you do it that way. Now, this is kind of the way you instantly grow your list. So once you have your custom audience there, you can click on your custom audience. So any one of the custom audiences you have listed, and it's going to give you the ability to create a similar audience. And what Facebook does, they don't tell you exactly what they do, but what we believe they do is they take your current list and they take a number of variables. I'm guessing that if you have a list of 1,000 people and they match 500, they'll find out what's common or similar with those 500 people. Maybe it's age, maybe it's interests, and then they will create a similar group of people. Now, in my case, when I did that, it created almost 2 million matches in the entire U.S. This similar thing happened for our good friend Chuck Troutman, who runs the Arizona Marketing Association. He loaded a list of 700. He got something like 4.2 million matches. And then when you use this later, if you're focusing your ads on a certain geography, like in the case of Chuck, he's focused on Arizona. Out of that 4.2 million, I think he had something like 85,000 prospects, good matches that he could advertise to. So you're going to get some variation of that. That's the basic process, and I hope this helps.